Beautiful namaste, yogis. Welcome to our practice today. I'm here, still have my broken toe, but anyway, we're doing our yoga because every day, a little bit stronger, and getting a little bit more aware of, what it feels like to do yoga with a broken toe. Practice, right? Consistent practice for a long time, say the Yoga Sutras. So here we are again on our yoga mat on the grassy knoll in Maui. And I'll meet you in the center of the mat. We'll start in the seat, please. All righty. Seated in the center of your mat, I'm starting in Sukhasana. Simple folded legs out in front of you. Now snuggle on in. We're going to start with something called tapping. And we'll start by warming up our hands by rubbing the palms together. And then shaking out your hands, wrists, fingers. And then do that again, rub the palms. And then shake your hands. Add a little blink of the fingers. Good. And now that there's a little bit more energy down into the palms of the hands, up into the tips of the fingers, start tapping the top of your head. And you can take it towards the forehead a little bit on that center line. And then back towards the base of the skull. Forward towards the forehead. And then right down the center, and then down the sides of your head. Just nice little taps on the tips of your fingers. Close your eyes. Tune to your breath. And then allow your fingertips to tap the entirety of your skull as it feels interesting and useful. And there, you might quicken the pace a little bit, like tap, 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 tap. Then tap the temples. Outer corners of the eyes. I use my ring finger to do that. Back to the temples. Up to the head, the whole skull. Front, back, center. Good. Back of the skull. Last few moments, tap, 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 tap. And then pause. Turn your palms up, rest them on top of the thighs. Close your eyes if they're not already closed. Big breath in. Big breath out. And notice what it feels like, not only in the head and the skull, but also in the fingers, tips of the fingers. One of the definitions of yoga, relationship. Right? Both have a little sensation. Yes? Great. Clearing inhale. Exhale out everything. We'll stay in the subtle realm with a little breath awareness exercise. So starting at the base of your tailbone, take a few breaths there. Now this is the lowest chakra of the 7 main chakras, Muladhara. Said to be the seat of our sense of safety and security. And we're going to draw that sense of safety and security up the spine. So on your inhale, feel from the tip of the tailbone, let it rise up the entirety of your spine, up the neck, into the head, into your head, up to the crown of the head. Hold the breath there for a few moments. And exhale out everything. Relax. Do that again, drawing it from that grounding sense of safety. Up, let it rise, rise, rise up to the crown of the head, up to that, more in that region of manifestation and enlightenment at the top of the head. Hold your breath and attention and awareness at the crown of your head. Maybe you feel a little bit of a sense of it opening. Exhale, draw the breath down the spine, all the way down to the base of the spine. One more like that. Drawing our attention and awareness and our energy up the spine, from safety and security to manifestation. It's one way of looking at it. Hold at the crown of the head, soften the eyes and the jaw, soften the lungs and the heart. Exhale out everything, all the way down the spine. Back to that sense of grounding. Great. Let your eyes open and let's continue to move the energy, right, between heaven and earth, between enlightenment and the ideas down to manifestation, because it takes both effort and ease, the grace and the practice. It's both for anything to happen. Yeah? Yes. All right. Very nice. Did you hear that dog? He's so cute. Okay. Let's make our way to all fours. Speaking of dog pose, let's do a little cat and cow. Cat and cow. Waking up the front and the back of the spine. And then draw in the dog with rolling the hips a little side to side. Wag your tail. Oof. So the front and back of the spine, the side to the spine, and then let's twist the spine nice and slow. Inhale, let the right hand lift. Reach up, open your heart. Exhale, slide that right hand underneath the left. Reach forward. Don't let it come all the way to the ground. Pause. Let it hover. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, roll it through. Hover, pause, breathe. One more like this. Inhale, beautiful opening. The whole torso, nice twist of the spine. Reach through like you're reaching to touch something way underneath, perhaps reaching underneath your bed for a sock that just fallen there. Good, one more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, let the right hand come down. We'll get into the wrist a little bit. Spin the fingers back towards you, one hand here, and then roll the hips slightly back towards the heels. And that palm will lift up a little bit. Press the base of the palm down. Open up the channels of that right arm a little bit. Navel to the spine, breath flowing. And then release that hand, give it a little shake, 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 shake. And then the back of the palm, the fingers towards you. Make a little fist, and then release. A little fist, and then release. Shake it out. Now, replant, right? That nice energy plants and grounds you on the right hand. That right arm is straight. Inhale the left arm up to the sky. You reach the left fingertips up as you root down through the right hand. Breathe in. Exhale. Bring it underneath the body and slide it to the right. Hover. Inhale, draw it up 3 times. Exhale, nice, solid, slow, graceful descent as you round and reach, hover, breathe, pause. Inhale, draw it up. Exhale. Reach through, pause, breathe, navel to the spine, soften the eyes, soften the jaw. Feel this from the base of the spine up to the crown of the head, even though that the spine is twisted here. Breathe. Beautiful. All right. Come on, back up. Lift. Wide open heart, exhale. Draw that left hand down. And then turn the palms towards you. Spread the fingers. Hips slightly back towards the heels. That palm will lift up just a little bit to feel that stretch. Make some effort to bring the base of the palm back down. Spread the fingers. Press. Good. Lift it back up. Give it a little shake out. Now the back of the palm comes down. The fingers towards you. Fingers spread wide, and then make a little fist. Curl the fingers in and drop them down. Curl the fingers in and drop them down. Good. Come up onto your knees. Inhale the arms up and over the head. Interlace the fingers. Spin the palms up to the sky. Reach up. Straighten the arms. Elbows nice and straight. Arms back. Navel in. Tailbone drops. Front hip bones lifted just a little bit. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Exhale, let the hands find the hips. Spin the palms so the fingers point down. Hands right at the base on your pelvis, that triangle-shaped bone at the base of the spine. Press the hips forward. We're not going into full camel, but just enough to where you can feel it in the front of the thighs as you ground down through the shins, ground down through your ankles. Thigh bones press forward, tailbone drops. Lift up to the heart, lift the gaze, elbows towards each other, and breathe in and breathe out. Great. Come all the way back up to center. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Little heart opening exercise before we roll the down dog. So plant the hands. I have to be mindful of my toes on my right foot. So I'm just going to tuck just my left toes. And then lift myself up into downward facing dog and mindfully place my right foot down. Now I can do this with the broken toe because both my heels reach the earth. It doesn't really matter unless you have a broken toe, whether your heels reach down towards the earth or not. You're still getting a nice stretch as you lift the sit bones up and you press the thigh bones back. An equal measure from the heart down, the arms into the hands. And you might lift your fingers a little bit, spread them nice and wide since we've done that beautiful work in the hands, and then drop the fingers back down into the earth. And lift the center of the palms just a little bit. Lift your inner arches just a little bit. Lift your navel to the spine a lot. Drop your head. Downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to your feet. dangle in your forward fold. Drop your head a lot, shake it out. And now it's the opposite. The tailbone lifts to the sky and the crown of the head is down towards the earth. Breathe from the tailbone down to the crown of the head. From the crown of the head up to the tailbone. That central channel, the Sushumna, the gracious channel. Good. Slightly bend your knees. Chin to the chest. So there's a nice rounding to the back body. And let's come all the way up to standing. So now we're in standing pose, Tadasana, manifestation. Reach the arms up and over the head. Reach for the stars. Stretch up. A little bit right, a little bit left. Right home, back to center. Let the hands find their way to Tadasana pose. In Anjali Mudra, pause, close your eyes. Big inhale. Big exhale. Follow that exhale down into your feet. Close your eyes. Soften the front ribs so that the front ribs and the back ribs match each other. The heart is centered and balanced. Shoulder blades melt down the back body. Elbows are lifted slightly. The hands are together at the heart. Lift the front of the thighs just a little bit. Lift the navel just a little bit. The heart stands tall and feel the head balanced. Right on top of your spine and heart. With your hands at your heart center, create an intention, what in Sanskrit is called a sankalpa. Drawing in your attention, your breath, your full awareness to what you'd like to create in your day, in your life. Because energy follows breath and attention. This is a necessary step here in creating anything. And then feel as if it is already so. Sages from all of our studies tell us that our wishes and our desires are absolutely vital for creating the life that we want, though we don't have a choice in how it happens. So that's the surrender part. How it gets done is really none of our business, but being the channel for this work on the earth right here, right now, very much, right? Last few moments, call it in. And then draw the chin to the chest and the gaze comes down to your heart and into your prayers. See your prayers. Full breath in. Full breath out. And seal that with the word Namaste. Thank you. Have a great day.